Okay, let's begin. Everyone's hearing me? So fine, okay, working. Okay, so my name is Julian.
My name is Esdras, and today we'll talk a little about how interact with smart contract in Ethereum. What's your possibilities and how you can connect smart contract with others technology?
So that's our agenda. We're going to do a quick intro for you guys so you get to know us better. Then we're going to do a little recap here because this is a very hard subject, so some people may not get the general idea behind blockchain, so we're going to do a quick recap. Then we're going to show you two forms to interact with smart contracts. One will be the most basic one that basically works with clients, and then we're going to show some web-based experience for you guys. Later on, we're going to show you running dApps in production because there are already decentralized applications running right now, and then we will open some time for questions. For that, I ask you again that you send your questions to Twitter. I'll be following the hashtag here, so at the end, if you have some time, we can answer some of your questions.
If you need to contact us, there is our email, and if you need to see more codes, there is our GitHub, okay?
So me and Esdras have been working for a while together now. The first venture we got together was Kik. It was a payment gateway written in Elixir, Ruby, and some native apps. So it was pretty neat. We were one of the first companies to use Elixir, so it was an awesome adventure. Also, we worked together at BelugaDB, which is a big data database located here in São Paulo. And right now we are on our last venture that is our own company. It's called 314 Coins. We basically sell Ethereum for the Brazilian markets here. We are focusing on that, so we are pretty nervous because it's the first time we are making it public, so that's that.
We love open source because that will help us maintain the group for student Elixir is Meetup here in São Paulo, and other group for Ethereum in São Paulo too, in Meetup too.
Okay, so that's a very important part of our job here because one thing that we like to do is incentivize the most we can about going open source and going to talks and participating more in the community. That's something that's very important for us. We help to take care of those two communities, but if you don't like those subjects or if you have other subjects that you might be interested in, I recommend you to get a grasp on that, to get involved with the community. It's a place where you can learn a lot, you can make contacts, so it's something that you should probably be doing right now. Talk to your coworkers, talk with them, and make them interact more with people because that's the way we get things done. So, as I promised you, a quick recap here on blockchain. I won't take long because Victor and Bernardo already did the heavy lifting for us. But the main way I like to see blockchain is a big database, a mutable database that you can only write it one time. You cannot delete it, you cannot update it. And the way that you write on the blockchain is doing so by blocks. So if a lot of people want to write into that database, we have to do a block of several writes. And in order for us to write it, we have to encrypt it. And one part of the encryption uses the information from the last block. So the blocks are chained together in order for them to be writable.
In Bitcoin, the blockchain is used for one big application, transaction between wallets in Bitcoin. But in Ethereum, can do more. Ethereum has a Turing-complete virtual machine. Can you write your smart contract, put it in blockchain, you can execute this smart contract. This smart contract can interact with other smart contracts or other accounts.
So that's the real revolutionary part here, because in Bitcoin, we are doing now that hard work. We are spending a lot of money on graph cards and energy to just process transactions for the sake of processing transactions. So that's good, okay, but that's not very nice. The price of Bitcoin is rising, but it's difficulty to mine more coins is getting harder and harder. So why not make something useful of that? So thinking of that, as I said, Bitcoin is concentrated on only transacting money. Vitalik, which is the creator of Ethereum, thought of that Turing-complete machine which can run code. So instead of validating transactions, you can actually validate and run code. That's very, very different because we have autonomous code running on the blockchain, and it basically cannot be taken down. It's everywhere. So let me check if your guys are still listening for us. Let me ask you for a few quick questions. How many of you here holds any kind of Ether? Okay.
Nice.
A few people. Okay. How many of you guys holds another cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin or anything like that? Ripple, I don't know. Okay. Few people, true. Have you ever heard of the DAO? No?
No?
No? Okay, one person, that's great. So the DAO, a quick recap on the DAO. It was the reason why Ethereum got forked a few months ago. What happened is they created that decentralized app that would allow people to fund projects through the blockchain. So the general idea was, I put a lot of money in there, then a lot of people open your own projects there, and I would choose which project I want to fund. But there was a problem in the smart contracts. There was a bug in the smart contract.
In smart contract, not in blockchain.
Yeah, that's important to notice. Not in the blockchain, on the smart contract, and allowed a hacker to basically steal all the money from it. It was a big deal. The community was very stressed out because they have until a certain block point to fork the blockchain and like roll back that transaction.
Because that Ethereum fork created Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, Ethereum Classic. We got now 2 coins, and actually I lost a lot of money there. I think
Me too.
Other people that interacted with it lost it as well. So it was very bad for.
Let's forget that, man.
Okay.
Okay. Let's create a real smart contract. Julie, write for me one smart contract you can sell a publicity space. Very simple. One
Okay.
string like that. Okay.
Okay,
I will
okay.
pay to you 10 fin.
10
Okay.
fin.
10 fin is equal 10 reais. Okay.
Okay.
0.01 Ether. Okay.
Okay. That's pretty simple. So we actually programmed this smart contract for you. It's written on Solidity. It looks like this. It has other stuff, but the basic general idea surrounds around this function here. Well, since it's a smart contract, you have to program it. You use a programming language. The main core of the billboard that we wrote there is just to set a message. So it's basically a setter. It's a function. It's called setMessage. It takes one argument, which is a message. And we have those 2 modifiers here that specify it's a public, so anyone can interact with it, and it's payable. So in order for you to run it, you have to pay for it. So that's a very disrupting part for most of the people that starts to checking on blockchains with smart contracts, is that part that you have to pay for code to run. So we check here if the value that you send us is the same as our setting fee, as Esdras told us, 10 fine.
Yes, you set that.
Yeah, that's right. You can check this later on GitHub if you want to. We will send the links for you later on. If everything works fine, we can then set the message with the value that we received here on the parameter. And we emit an event that will show people that this message was actually set.
Like, nice, man. Now, if Julien creates the smart contracts, we need 3 things for interact with smart contracts. The first is the client. You need the Ethereum protocol, okay, synchronizing your blockchain. The part is the client more fast, is writing in Rust, okay, it's very nice. The MetaMask is the client very nice too, because MetaMask not needs the synchronize the blockchain. MetaMask has the owner server synchronized. You install the only extension of your Chrome. Your private keys maintained in the Chrome. Okay, you use only the extension. Okay, defined the MIST is the official client is in Meteor. Is created for the foundation.
Yeah, that's right. So just a quick thing here. That's more like a browser, you know. It's the means when you have to interact with the blockchain, you have to actually download it. The difference between MetaMask, which is one of the middle, and the other two is that in MetaMask you don't have to download the blockchain. It's already psyched up, as Esdras told us.
Yes.
So we still need two stuff. We need the client and
the address. I need to know where is the smart contract in the blockchain. The address and the ABI interface. ABI interface is a schema of the smart contract, okay? If you program in C or C++, they have the header. Nice?
Okay. So with all those informations in hand, with the client running the blockchain, the address of the contract, and the ABI, which will tell the client what the contract can do, we can finally interact with it. We'll try here to check if my node is synced up, so we can show you a live demo. If not, we prepared a video for you guys. Okay. Everything seems to be running.
Client is a parity.
Yeah, I'm using parity here. Probably won't be able. Okay, that's better. So I'm running parity here with one of the clients. I already have a contract here, but I'll just delete it for we can see how we're going to how can we interact with it.
You will not delete the smart contract. You
It's like deleting a bookmark, you know? That's the information of the smart contract cannot be deleted because it's on the blockchain. We just delete the reference from it within our clients, like we're deleting a bookmark. So we have to choose this tab here called contracts. Different clients will have different UIs, but it's basically the same idea. You have to grab here the two infos, which is the address, and then we click here on watch. We have a few options here, a token, a wallet, and a contract. In our case, it is a contract. We fill in the address for it. Then we grab the ABI. Okay. The best DApp ever. And with those in hand, oh, I put it on the wrong place. Right here. So with that in hand, we can add a contract on our client, and that contract is now watchable.
nice. If you want to interact with the smart contracts, you can execute. Sorry, Roland. Here is the attributes of the smart contracts, like fee, like the message, or the owner of the smart contracts. Okay?
So here we can actually see the state of the contract. As I told you, the blockchain is a database, so the smart contract is kind of like a table, a view, I don't know. And here we can see how it's right now. So we want to change that state. We click here on execute.
You select the function if you need execute.
So we will set the message.
Put your message. And put the amount. It's very remember, executing smart contracts is making a transactions between your wallet, your address with other address. Okay, keys the smart contract.
Okay, so with that in hand, Parity here opens up a pop-up for me to confirm it. Since we don't actually have a way to interact with the blockchain, that we cannot know what your password is. Every time you have to manually put it there. So I'll just fill it in. And I'll click on confirm. What that will do is that it will take my transaction, it will send for the network so a miner can grab it and process it. It usually takes something around 2 minutes on the Ethereum blockchain, but it depends on the internet connection because it have to go to the miners have to mine it, confirm the block, and then I have to sign my node with that. So it might take a while. We can do, we can continue.
Let's show in the transaction in Etherscan.
And that's that too. Once you have sent it to the blockchain, you get actually a link of it on this website, which is a cool website that actually just shows us the current state of the blockchain. It's called Etherscan. The address is very simple. It's etherscan.io. And here it's saying that my transaction is pending confirmation. It has been a while for 40 seconds now. It specifies me here the value and the function that I called. So it's very low level, but we can live see how our transaction is going and not depend on our node only. So we'll wait here while we get the confirmations. We need...
Okay, one confirmation.
One confirmation, okay. So
let's see the contract changing.
Okay,
or not.
Transaction has been successfully included on the block.
Okay.
So right now we can check here in our contract, and we set the value. So
this smart contract is in production, is the main net.
Yeah, it's working on the mainnet. We actually paid for that to be run for. So it's very interesting. It seemed very simple, right? Setting just a message, but you see that this cannot be taken down by any entity. It cannot be killed. It cannot be regulated. It's actually an awesome thing. So there's a problem with that approach. I like to think that that is a problem that we already have in the past, is that we have to know all these weird terms such as address, parity, ABI, watch contract, and those strange hashes here. So that's actually not very user-friendly. It's not something that my grandma would love to interact with. But we had this kind of problem before. We usually, before we have those weird terms like HTTP, requests, index.php, and this weird address to access websites like some kind of protocol, double dot, slash, slash, and some numbers separated by dots, slash, index. That's so confused. But we've come a long way through that. Now we just type an elegant, simple phrase, and we are taken to the application. And Ether is getting there. We are still in the early stages of the technology. We still don't know what we can do with it. Probably someone could think of Facebook in '95, but we wasn't expecting it to get the proportions that it get at that time. So it's something very interesting that the technology is actually improving.
Think about that. Ethereum Foundation created a JS library named Web3.js, can interact with the blockchain with JS. It's very nice because you not need to watch the smart contract to interact with the. You can use the JavaScript for connection using JSON RPC.
Yeah.
And you interact with the smart contracts using JavaScript.
So
let's see how...
It's something that we actually do a lot, right?
Yes,
we ask for a node and talk on it with JSON. So that's a lot familiar for us. So here's a code snippet. I hope you all are getting to understand what's going on here. If not, I can zoom in.
The first line, Web3 is connecting with the client node, okay? It's here.
Okay, so it's local, but we could change this address to something else, like the parity, the MetaMask web servers, or another web server that would have signed up the blockchain.
Okay. The next line is ABI interface, okay?
Okay.
The next is the address of the smart contract, okay? The next is smart contract creating objects in JavaScript. You need to put the interface, you need to put the the address, okay?
So with the ABI in hand and the contract, we actually have this method called setMessage, which is the same from the smart contract. So it's actually very simple. With the ABI, the JavaScript can actually know what methods it can call. So it calls here with an awesome message like, pickle brick, motherfucker. And
This cartoon is very, very nice.
yeah, and we set the value here because you see we are setting this message. We want the smart contract to actually display this awesome message. And we have to set the value, which we sent here to 10 Finney, and the address from, that's my wallet. That's where the money will be taken from, and it will be sent to this address here. So we check if everything worked out.
Using callback.
Yeah, JavaScript stuff. And if everything worked, it show a quick model for that. So we actually did a live demo for you. It's on that URL. If you want to access it, you can take a look. It's a very simple website. It looks like this. And what it will do is, what we will do is the same thing that we did on Parity, but on the web, in a friendly way. So let's try to interact it with live. If it's not going to work, I have a video here as well. So, okay, our message, zoom in. Okay, the message here is set.
Use the MetaMask.
Okay, so let me stop party here. Okay, party stop. Let me check MetaMask. Okay, so MetaMask, you just install it and import your keys, and it's good to go. Note that I'm not running anymore the blockchain; it's stopped. But my dApp will still to work. So let's set a message here. Feel like we should write.
You need to refresh the dApp.
Okay, and here we go. Okay, that's right. Okay, that's right.
Okay.
So let's set a message here like.
Oh man, spoiler.
No, that's not spoiler, that's the truth. Okay, so with that in hand, we just press submit. MetaMask will kick in. MetaMask will kick in.
Or not.
Or not, maybe. Okay, so MetaMask will not kick in. So we have a video in case that happened. So sorry, but it will work the same.
Try with the party.
With party, okay, we can try with party. So let's get a party up again. Okay. Okay, party is here. So I will put just another message here, like our flag. Okay, that was faster. So I click submit, and then Parity opened the same model for me here to just put my password. I can check what I'm sending to the blockchain. It's that message, paying that amount, and I put my password, and we're good to go. So it might take a while again because we have to wait the block to finish. So let's just keep it here.
More easy. So easy, man. Oh, MetaMask.
MetaMask resolved to show. Okay, whatever. So it was actually very easy. We didn't require our users to know ABIs and know to install some kind of client called Party or something like that. It was actually very easy. There's other technologies, as Bernardo and Victor told you about earlier, that may even improve even more that experience. But that's working right now. So while we wait for the transaction to be approved, let's keep going our presentation. Okay.
In this website, they say they have 700 dApps registered in your system.
Okay, so that's a lot of dApps. It's
but it's not the only production. Has apps too in beta.
There's a lot of beta software there, but there's also dummy stuff there that doesn't actually have no use. But there's several of them that are already working. We have some with traditional gamings. Oh, we can actually read it on. Okay, so with traditional gaming, gambling and lottery already happening, people are already spending money on that.
We have the exchange better. The decentralized exchange for me is the big idea using smart contracts because now the exchanges is using middlemen is very hard the fees of the exchanges, but if you use the decentralized exchange, you not need the middleman. Do not need the trust in the company. You need the trust in the code. For me, it's the best thing which you have now.
Yeah, it's trusting on math instead of people. And actually, it can lower the prices even more because right now we have to buy from an exchange and it's really a very painful process, but it's actually very procedural. So we have other services as well right now running. I like these three services very well. I'll talk more about the last one later. But ENS is like the DNS, but for the blockchain. So you won't have to actually remember those fancy hashes. You have just to remember an address, just like on the internet. You don't have to remember the IPs. You just remember the name. What that means is that you can actually send us money if you want to. I would be very pleased about that. We have our address here. You can get one of your own too. It's still not well consolidated. It's still on the early stages, but it's already working. So,
Julien, let's show me the links of these apps.
okay, the links, those links?
No, man, not that, man.
Okay, the real links, right?
Yes.
Okay, those are my favorite links. Like, I played this game since I was
I
a
like
kid.
too, but
They're useless, right? So we got around some links for you guys here. The first one is the Ethereum website. It's a very complete website. It's non-technical stuff. You can totally take your grandma to a walk on it, and she would read it and understand everything, how to decentralize their apps and stuff. There's also here the website that I told you guys about from this presentation. We got this awesome domain on time, which is very delightful for the conference. Here is also the source code of it. If you want to take a look, send us a pull request, I don't know, copy, whatever. There's also the link for MetaMask, which is, for me, the most advanced plugin right now for you to interact with the blockchain. We don't have to download it. The blockchain is big right now. Depending on the client you are using, you may have to download some gigabytes for it. So I recommend you start using MetaMask for interact with those dApps. The directory with several hundred more dApps is on this URL, so you might as well take a look on that. And that one is my favorite. It's a tool that allows you to open issues on GitHub, and if you have your project and you want some issues to be closed, and you don't have enough people for it, you can put it on this website, put the money on an escrow, on a contract. So when the pull request is sent and closed and accepted by you, by a total stranger, the total stranger gets paid for it. So it's like we are decentralizing software development. You don't have to actually interact with the developer. You don't have to hire him. You just put in there, I have this issue. Anyone who can solve it grabs the money. You send the pull request. I approve. The money goes to you. So it's really nice. And we also have this framework. If you check our repo, you will see that we mostly use vanilla JavaScript. So it's very simple. We didn't want to get it over with unnecessary libraries or unnecessary stuff. So if you really are getting serious into writing dApps, and spoiler alert, the job openings for dApps is skyrocketing right now. You should check this framework here. It's called Truffle Framework. It's very nice to use, very well documented. There's also our links here. That's the link for our company. We are currently on beta, so it may not work for you, but I encourage you to take a look at it. There's also the link for both Beluga and Ethereum SP, which is the community that we help to maintain. I'm very pleased to see some familiar faces here that every time shows up on this kind of events, so you might as well check that. And
Is that?
that's it. So thank you.
Very much.
That's all we've got. I'll be checking here on Twitter for the next minutes if we have questions or anything like that. But thank you. E aí, mano?